Vanakkam, this is Heart2Heart with Ungal RP. What is the big E word? Ego. What is the big S word? Sorry. Similarly, what is the big G word? Guilt. Guilty is feeling responsible for a specified wrongdoing. All of us would have felt guilty at some point for an act that we did or for an act that we should have but didn't. For a word we said or for a word we should have but didn't. None of us can escape feeling guilty. But should guilt affect us? Can we look at it positively? Let's explore on the topic guilty, to be or not to be. Guilt is a powerful feeling. It can even overpower logical reasoning sometimes. In Mahabharata, was Arjuna's feeling of guilt of having to fight with his own elders, brothers and gurus make him drop the bow before the battle. The feeling of guilt was so powerful that it even overshadowed his reason for the battle. And to quell his guilt, Krishna had to deliver the Bhagavad Gita to make Arjuna ready for the battle. Guilt can come for multiple reasons, from telling lies to shirking responsibilities to passing the blame to gossiping about friend and to not spending time with loved ones and child and etc. Some guilt feelings may affect us less, while some may take many years to overcome. Sometimes we may never overcome it. There are things that we can correct and there are things where we can only repent and ensure we do not repeat. Either ways, it is the realization of being wrong that matters the most. Now we all know and might agree that feeling guilty is a negative feeling and that would cause us stress. But like we always do in our Heart2Heart series, can we try and give it a positive spin? That is, can we convert the strong, powerful emotion of guilt into something strongly positive? Unhealthy guilt is illogical and irrational sometimes. It is like blaming ourselves where we are not at fault or probably where the situation was not in our control. Such guilt can only cause us stress and make us feel depressed. Then, what is healthy guilt and how does it help us? If we think deep, it is the feeling of not living up to the standards that we have set for ourselves. It is not having acted according to what we feel we are as a person. This means we have very high values, and when we don't stick to these values, it causes us guilt. Now this is a positive emotion because this ensures that we do not err the next time. Now this can also happen when we hurt someone or probably when we are the reason for a problem that we could have avoided. This guilt will ensure that we correct ourselves and we will also change our behavior the next time. How do we get out of healthy guilt? Realize, repent, repair and repeat not. If we follow this, then we can get to use healthy guilt positively and make ourselves a better human being. Now let me give you some instances where others will make us feel guilty. For example, in a home where both the parents are working, the parents will usually be blamed for not spending enough time with the child. And in the case of a working woman, she would be blamed for shirking away from household responsibilities. And when we follow the interest of a hobby, it is usually considered as a waste of time. Now, when we are clear in our mind and heart, there are people who could make us feel guilty. We need to be rational and we need to think even in guilt. Okay, இப்போ ஒரு குட்டி ஸ்டோரிக்கு போலாம். A king once praised a learned young man and gifted him an expensive necklace. On the way home through the forest, the young man was waylaid by a robber, and the robber killed the young man for the necklace. On knowing this, the king felt extremely guilty. The king ensured his soldiers caught the robber, and when the robber was caught, he ordered him to be killed. Couple of days later, a saint with mystic powers approached the king and told him that he would be able to bring back the young man to life. And this would help the king get rid of his guilt. The king immediately asked the saint if the saint would be able to bring back the robber also back to life. The saint replied that he would be able to bring back to life only one person. The king immediately refused the offer and said that if I bring back the young man to life, then I would be feeling guilty for having killed the robber for a murder that he didn't commit. The saint was amazed at the clarity of the king and the rationale that the king had even when he was going through the guilt. Sometimes guilt can make us lose the reason and the rationale. Even when we go through a guilt, we need to clearly think and we need to keep ourselves away from toxic, unhealthy guilt and embrace positive, healthy guilt and convert that into a positive emotion. While you keep thinking of all the guilt trips that you've had and how are you planning to amend some of them, I'm signing off. This is Ungal RP Heart to Heart.